Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Basically, what I'd like to do is start with introduction. So my name is Chuck Ridgway. I'm the Automation Technology Manager at Horner. So I'll be presenting the material today. Joining us and providing the answers is our product manager, Casey Gardner. How you doing, Casey?
Hey, not too bad. How's it going, Chuck?
Great. Chiming in from time to time is our colleague, Mr. Tom Philippek. How we doing, Tom?
Great. Thanks for having me on today.
Awesome. And then we have Marcy Tyree, our marketing guru, keeping everything going where it should. How's it going, Marcy?
It's good, Chuck. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. All right. So today we're presenting the XL Prime series of OCS All-in-one Controllers. That's our topic for today. It's a new product line. If you have any questions at any time throughout the program, feel free to put them in the Q&A tab on your user interface. So let's get started. Okay, our agenda today, we're going to answer the question that's on everyone's mind. What is the XL Prime series and where does it fit in the OCS lineup of all-in-one controllers? We're going to do a lot of comparisons between the XL Prime series and the existing XL series. We're going to talk about the XL Prime rollout. Not all models will be available at once, so we're going to describe how they'll be rolled out to the public. And then we're also, of course, going to talk about support materials, what material is going to be available for you to learn about the products. Of course, the sales sheet, I've already mentioned, the sales sheet is available today from the handouts section of the user interface in today's webinar. And then we'll talk about price and availability as well. So what is the XL Prime series? So this is a new Horner OCS product line with high functionality and high value. So at Horner, we're best known for making all-in-one controllers, and our product name is OCS. It stands for Operator Control Station, and we have several series of OCS products, and we'll review those with you here shortly. Each series kind of has their own characteristics, if you will, and the XL Prime is definitely high functionality and high value. So it is an evolutionary advancement from the XL series. So not a revolutionary advancement. A lot of Horner customers are OEM machine builders, and OEM machine builders like consistency. They like to source the same product for an extended number of years. They also don't like necessarily large changes. We try and serve our OEM customers as best we can. And so we've made evolutionary changes in the product line for the XL Prime series with their interest in mind. But we do think that this new product line will be attractive to both new customers as well as existing customers. So as we talk about where the XL Prime family fits, let's talk about the other products available in the OCS product lines. So our entry-level product line is the Micro OCS. It's been around for 2 to 3 years now, and there's currently 5 different members in the product family: a small X2 unit with a small key-based user interface and a 2-inch display, also a couple of 4-inch models, a 7-inch model, and a 10-inch model. And it's really well known as being a very functional entry-level product. So when you compare this product line with product lines that are entry level in nature from other companies, you'll find that the Micro OCS is very well specified. So it's got a lot of capability and it's got a lot of functionality, but it is an entry level product line. Now we've also got our XLE and XLT products, which frankly have been around the longest in our current OCS product family. They've been around for 15 years or more, but they're very, very popular. We still sell a lot of those products. And I mentioned before, OEMs like consistency. They're also very versatile products in that you can use them for a variety of different applications. Recently, we've been talking about the fact that you can even use them as remote I/O off of Ethernet IP type systems. Right now, of course, with a lot of supply chain issues, there are a lot of remote I/O systems that are hard to get, and you could use XLE for that function, for instance. And it's traditional in that it's been around a while. And about 3 to 4 years ago, we basically updated the internal electronics so we could continue to source those parts and could continue to supply the product line to our customers. And then we have the XL series in the lower right-hand corner. That's our bread and butter product line. Very functional, a good value considering all the functionality that it has. There are 6 different members of the XL series product family. And again, we consider that a high value, high function product line. So you can see that the XL Prime also is high function, high value. So they do overlap from the standpoint of where they fit in the Horner OCS family of products. Okay, so let's compare now. Since these are both high value, high functionality units, let's compare the XL Prime series, which is new, with the XL series, which is, again, our bread and butter, where we get a lot of our volume from today. So the models are effectively the same 6 models. And from the outside, there aren't really any cosmetic differences between the XL series and the XL Prime. Also, they have the same I/O options and the same ports from a communication standpoint. They have the same cutouts. They even use the same software, even though with the Prime series, you will have to use the latest service pack in Seascape 9.9. Effectively, it's the same software. And the program is the same as well. I mean, you do need to make a slight modification to the program that is probably going to take you a total of 15 seconds or so, but effectively, they utilize the same program. So as you can tell from this, that very much so, the XL Prime is an evolutionary change versus the XL. Well, if all of those things are the same, what's really different? So a lot of the differences between the XL series and the XL Prime are under the back cover or in the electronics. All Horner OCS controllers are based on what's called SOMs, System on Module is what that stands for. And nearly all of the products that feature SOMs feature a custom SOM. In other words, it's a component that Horner has designed. And those SOMs contain a variety of chips. Generally, it's microprocessors, memory chips for both RAM and flash typically. Also, high-speed silicon for handling high-speed counting as well as high-speed outputs. And all those chips are typically put on a common circuit board that is shared between models in the same family. Now, what's unique about the XL Prime SOM, which is all new, is yes, it has a faster CPU as you would expect since it's newer, but it also uses something called FRAM for variable storage. Now, what is FRAM? Well, FRAM is a chip that offers the best of flash and the best of RAM. So the benefits of flash are the fact that it doesn't require any kind of power to maintain its memory. The advantage of RAM is that it's fast and that it doesn't wear out from repeated writes. FRAM has the characteristics of both. It doesn't wear out due to repeated writes. And when you're talking about variables running on a controller, that variable data is being written continuously. And then like flash, it also is retentive. In other words, without power, it maintains its memory. So that's a big advantage. And then also you've got a larger and faster high-speed counter type chip to handle the high-speed counting. The end result is, especially because of FRAM, there's no dependence on batteries for either program retention or variable retention with the XL Prime. So that's definitely a benefit for sure. Now, what are the results of having these newer chips, and in this case, FRAM? Well, let's talk about performance first. So for a large logic program, you're going to notice that it's going to be up to 50% faster. So if you've got a pretty large program running on an XL series controller, you're going to see faster scan rates. If you have a really small program, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of difference, frankly. Also, screen transitions are going to be up to 50% faster. Now, keep in mind, the XL series has always been known as being pretty snappy. So it's not like it's laggy at all, but you will see faster screen transitions as you transition or your users do from screen to screen. And of course, aside from performance, as I just mentioned on the previous slide, a big XL Prime advantage is the elimination of rechargeable batteries. And batteries, since the beginning of the PLC, which is well before my career, which started 30 years ago, batteries are always one of the weak points of any PLC, whether you're talking about a traditional non-rechargeable battery for backing up battery-backed RAM for variable storage, or whether you're talking about rechargeable batteries. It's a weak link. So the fact that we've eliminated all batteries for variable storage, and the only battery that's on the product at all is strictly a 10-year coin cell battery for the calendar clock. That's all. No other batteries are required for any other function. So that's a big advantage to the Prime series for sure. Now, for those of you who are thinking that, hey, I might want to consider transitioning from the XL series to the XL Prime series, there's some considerations that we'll go through here. Now, most of them are positive. Very few XL series programs will require any modification at all to run an XL Prime. Literally, the only change is typically going into the hardware configuration in Cscape and changing your target from an XL7, for instance, to an XL7 Prime, for instance. So literally, that's about the only change. Now, one thing I will mention, and that is, if you're using a fairly rare or obscure serial protocol or Ethernet protocol that was implemented in your application with the XL series, you should contact the factory to be sure that that protocol has been passed on. Now, we're not talking about Modbus or Ethernet IP or BACnet or any of the protocols that are very mainstream. DF1, SNPX, SNP, those are carried forward for sure. But we're talking about some of the less popular, more obscure serial protocols. If you're using one of those with your XL series product, just check with the factory to see if it's carried through or not. Okay, so from a part number standpoint, again, we're trying to keep things as consistent as possible. The only difference in the part numbers with XL Prime versus the XL series is the addition of a single letter, the letter P for Prime, in the part number, as you can see there on the screen. So from a part number standpoint, there's virtually no difference. Again, just adding a P in the part number string, and that represents the part numbers for the XL Prime. With the material I've covered so far, it's very possible many of you are thinking, uh-oh, the XL series is going obsolete. Well, I want to reassure you that is not the case. We anticipate continuing to supply the XL series for more than 5 years. We don't anticipate a situation where we would discontinue the XL series in less than 5 years. And as a matter of fact, it'll probably be more than that. However, we are introducing 2 new product lines this year, which existing XL customers may choose to adopt. And that includes the XL Prime that we're talking about today. But even if that is the case, we want the customers to make that change if they do decide to make it on their own schedule. Okay, now let's talk about the rollout. What models are coming out when? Next month, we have 3 models that will come out first. So that's the XL4 Prime, which is our model that has a 3.5-inch quarter VGA display. We have our XL6 Prime, which has a 640 by 480 VGA resolution 5.7-inch display. And then we have our XLW Prime, which is based on a 800 by 480 7-inch widescreen display with a single CAN port and a single Ethernet port. All 3 of these models feature a single Ethernet port and a single CAN port. Now, following this summer, we've got 2 more models that will be released. That is the XL7 Prime and the XL10 Prime. So these are models which feature 2 CAN ports as well as 2 Ethernet ports. So those are being delayed slightly while we prepare them for the market. But you should see those in July. And then finally, the 15-inch model will be later in the year for sure, either in the fall or maybe even in the winter. And that's because the 15-inch model has more changes it's undergoing than the other models do. So it's taking more time to get that through engineering. But we will have a XL15 Prime that you will see again sometime in the fall and the winter. And if we get closer, or as we get closer to that time frame, we'll give you more details. Okay, now from a support material standpoint, very shortly, I believe around the 1st of May, you're going to see the XL Prime show up on our website as one of the options under all-in-one controllers. We've got, of course, the XL Prime sales sheet, which is available now if you download it from the handout tab in the user interface. And then we also have a series, of course, of cut sheets and users manuals and drawings, both AutoCAD as well as PDF drawings, as well as 3D drawings. Those will all be available as well on the XL Prime product page on the Horner Automation website. And again, you'll see that show up approximately the 1st of May. Now, from a price and availability standpoint, XL Prime is priced at the exact same level as the XL series. So if you are a current XL series user, there is no price penalty for moving to the XL Prime series. So just be aware of that. So all the pricing is the same. You can order the product as early as May 1st from your authorized distributor, your normal purchasing point, again, starting May 1st. And then after orders are placed, you can expect that we'll start shipping during the month of May. So we're still going through a little bit of polishing in the production department, getting everything ready to go. So shipments will follow during the course of May for, again, the XL4 Prime, the XL6 Prime, and the XLW Prime. So that is the XL Prime series. Now, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, then I'm going to go ahead and ask those questions, and I'm going to bring in Mr. Casey Gardner, our product manager, to get those answered for you. Are you ready, Casey?
Absolutely.
All right. Casey, here's a question from John. Of everything with the XL Prime series, what excites you the most about it?
I would definitely say, especially once customers get it in hands, the graphics improvement, while just in general response time. So I would really never describe our XL series as slow, but when you use the newer XL Prime in terms of screen transitions or just a snappiness in the graphics, it's definitely a noticeable difference. So I'll definitely be excited to see that kind of reaction.
Yeah, I mean, when I use some competitive products, and I'm not going to name them by name, but several of them can be a little laggy when you press a button and go from screen to screen. And we've always tried to avoid that with our products as much as possible. And I would agree with Casey. The Prime series is nice and snappy. Question from Mark, and that is, are custom overlays the same as well with the Prime series? So if you've got a customer that's already using a custom overlay with the XL series, are they the same with Prime?
Yeah, in terms of the overlays, they're going to be nearly identical. So custom overlays will definitely be possible and capable on the XL Prime series as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. So here's a question from Jacob. He says, it sounds like the XL Prime still uses the same graphical user interface primitives, and there's nothing that can be done in the GUI that can't also be done in the XL series, correct? There was talk of eventually getting a UI overhaul in Seascape 10, but I take that that's not happening right now with the XL Prime. So I'll let you go ahead and answer that one.
Sure. So we've definitely made it no secret that we were absolutely working on the Seascape 10 with the graphics overhaul. So that this is definitely the case. This XL Prime series will still be supported, obviously, in these coming Seascape versions and still have improvements. But in terms of the graphics overhaul, that will be in a separate hardware series along with Seascape 10 as well.
Very good. So here's the question. Will the analog I/O also be faster to match the faster program execution? In some of our applications using the XL series controllers with Model 5 I/O, will it be faster? That's the question. The analog scanning.
Yeah, I would not necessarily expect it to be much faster. I believe the I/O hasn't changed for in terms of the actual I/O used for each of the controllers. So I wouldn't expect that to change too much. It may be slightly faster, if anything, but some of those are CPU dependent on the actual I/O board, and I wouldn't expect significant changes in that regard.
Yeah, so I would concur with that. My only caveat, or the only thing I would add, is that if your program is fairly large in your Model 5 today, and you're switching to the Prime series and your scan rate goes down because your program was large, then your scan rate of your analog will be faster, because with the Model 5, along with several of the other models, that one scans at the same rate as the PLC in general, or as the scans along with the rest of the logic, I should say. So if your program is large and your scan rate goes down, then yes, your analog scan rate will improve. If the program isn't all that big, then it's not going to change much because your scan rate didn't change. Let's see. Will there be more pens available on trend objects is a question from Amos.
There will be no change in pins on trend objects currently, but that is something we're definitely working on improving with Seascape 10 later on for sure.
Right. So yeah, that new hardware platform that will fully support the new graphics engine will support more trends for sure. Does the screen resolution change or will it remain the same?
Screen resolution will definitely stay the same on all equivalent models for the XL Prime series.
Yes. Basically, again, getting back to what I mentioned earlier when I talked about the fact that this product is targeted at OEMs, just like most of our products are, we thought it was important to offer a product line that offered a more modern or a little bit better performance, as well as an elimination of rechargeable batteries, which are a weak link in a lot of applications. And by doing that and making it as easy as possible for customers who want to take advantage of that transition, keeping the graphics the same basically allows a seamless transition. But we will be offering improved resolutions and graphics and those sorts of things in the future with future series for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So is Seascape 10 and Canvas close behind? Announcement next week. You don't really have to answer this if you don't want to. And that's John. Question from John.
No announcement or so next week. Current indications are going to be towards the end of the year. But yeah, and that's with part shortages and all that fun stuff we're dealing with in the industrial market right now. But we are heavy at work. I mean, the Seascape 10 has been something that may have hit a few delays along the way, but it's just because we're trying to put that much more effort into to make it as good as we really want it to be.
The only little hint I will give without giving anything away is that especially if you're in the Midwest, there's a trade show in the fall in Chicago, or just after Labor Day, that we're going to be participating in. And I would say it's a very strong chance you'll get a chance to see the new series and the new version of Seascape at that trade show. I'm not saying it's going to be ready for the general market. I'm just saying you'll have a chance to preview it more than likely at that trade show after Labor Day. Okay, I think that is all of the questions. Lots of good questions.
Chuck, you missed one there from Mike Turner.
I did. Okay, let me go back and see. Sorry. Will the symbols with Seascape software be updated to work with these new changes?
So, and I think he's regarding Seascape 10, and I do believe the Symbols Factory will be supported in Seascape 10 as well.
There you go. That's the answer I'm sure they were looking for. So yeah, certainly with 9.9 Service Pack 7, there's no impact there. And as Casey just mentioned, if you want to use the Symbol Factory or the Symbol Library in Seascape 10, that is also going to be supported. Okay, before we close, again, thank you. Oh, we got one more question here from Caleb. What is the trade show in Chicago? So it's a trade show that runs basically alongside IMTS. And Marcy, do you have the name of that trade show handy?
It's the Hanover Mess trade show, which is, yes, with IMTS, and it is September 12th to the 17th in Chicago.
That's right. So 12th to the 17th in Chicago. And I know it's a funny name, but it's German. So it's Hanover Messe, MESSE. And Messe, I think, means trade show or fair in German. So yeah, thanks for that information, Marcy. And that'll be definitely a place where we're pretty confident you're going to be able to preview a lot of this stuff beyond XL Prime, of course, which you'll be able to have in your hands next month. Okay, so one last thing we'll mention here before we sign out. Thank you all for lots of good questions. For those of you who are interested in technical topics, we've built quite a library now of technical topics covering hardware, software, applications, you name it. And it's available every Tuesday. We have another new live stream available on another new topic. And we've maintained that really for about the last 15 months or more. And so there's lots available for you to watch either on our YouTube channel or on our website in the video section of our website. And if you have questions and you're watching a replay, you can put those in the comment section and we'll get them answered, not in real time, but we'll get them answered for you. And if you're watching live on any given Tuesday at 2 o'clock, we'll get those questions answered for you live and in person. All right. So once again, thank you for excellent questions. Yep. Go ahead.
This is Tom. Hey, I wanted to add in also September 26th, we'll be doing an introduction on our new machine monitoring OEE product line as well. So keep that on your radar when we'll send some email out for that as well.
Great. Fantastic. Thanks, Tom.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and everybody stay safe out there.